So Wesley, do you want to say hello and then Joe?
Good morning, all. Wesley from Tucson. We have plenty of bugs out here, which I tend not to squash. Just let them do their things. I have never done a bug squashing thing for Joomla or any other software for that matter, but I have noted to developers issues that I've seen that are problematic. And such. And I just recently cited one to another developer regarding dark mode. But that's the best I can do and such. So, but I'm just here to listen today. Thanks.
Okay, Joe and then Ellen.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm from Canada. I remember my very first buck squashing event was a live event, and I got to sit next to Chris Davenport, who was amazing and walked me through this. So I have to tell you that if you go to a Joomla event and they have live buck squashing, it is actually a lot of fun. So I highly recommend when you go to an event, if they have a buck squashing thing going on, find the most senior level developer in the room, park yourself next to that person. They're usually really, really friendly and they're so helpful. So that's the Joe advice for today.
Oh, wonderful. Ellen and then Emmanuel.
Hi, I'm Ellen Rothwax. I'm in Fairfield, Connecticut, in the USA. And I haven't participated in the bug squash yet.
Okay, wonderful. Emmanuel and then Paul.
Hi, I'm Manuel, and don't worry, we only squash virtual bugs. To whomever said they don't squash real bugs. I lived most of my adult life in the US and in Norway, and I made it back to France, and I'm hosting the Paris physical event on August 24th, Pizza Bug and Fun. And I've been using Joomla since before it was even called Joomla. And I only develop sites for customers in Joomla. And I've done over 120 sites or something. I don't know, 150 sites over the years.
Nice. Paul and then Lisa.
Hi, this is Paul. I'm Paul Adelodge. I'm from Tennessee. I've been working with Pat. I don't see her on this morning, but we've been developing a pretty comprehensive website for our local town. And yeah, we run into a few bugs now and then, and it's really frustrating. I don't like bugs.
Lisa and then
There,
Mike.
there are no bugs in Joomla. What are you talking about?
We got nothing to do today, eh?
Hi, I'm Lisa Kaiser. I'm in Fredericksburg, Virginia, which is just south of Washington, D.C. And I've not done a Pizza and Bugs event before, so I'm excited. I've wanted to, but I feel like the last one I had a conflict. So I'm looking forward to learning a bunch today. And I've been working with Joomla since like 2007 or 8, somewhere in there.
Wonderful. Michael and then Magdalene.
Hello. This is only my second event that I'm attending with you guys online. I'm in Athens, Greece, originally from the United States, but this would be my first time in any bug squashing. Although I have contributed a couple of times, a few bug reports over the years, but never actively involved with researching or specifically trying to look for anything. That's cool. About all I got, keeping it short.
And then Magdalene.
Yeah, I'm from Germany, and I once started with Mambo, but anyway, I never joined any looking for bugs. All I've done in that direction was just by myself and for myself, and yeah, I just want to give it a try and see if I can help, if I can do what I can learn.
All right. Well, we've got a lot of new folks in here, Olivier. So you can go ahead and take it over from here. Wait, if you want to share, I gotta give you permission.
Yeah, I think I have the option to share. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Olivier and I'm in New York right now. I've been organizing PBF with a lot of other folks like Benjamin Trinkle Carlos and Andreas and all these people that can help in all different areas. Jan, like about videos and marketing and documentation and the website and the setting up the servers for the event. And this time we won't have anything sent out to people, but we will have all open pins for people who attend. So what's Pizza Bugs and Fun? This event is really to help the Joomla project test patches and improve documentation, and for some who are like developer savvy, code savvy, people can actually create patches for bugs that are found. It can also be just testing the software and reporting issues, which is very important. So this is an event where people gather and then they all work the same day for about 24 hours. I don't know if it's really 24 hours, but it is a full day in Europe, and then it's taken over by America and all the countries that are a little behind time-wise, Canada and all these places. And this is really something that was meant to be for people to gather together, like in JUGs or small groups, share pizza and have drinks. It could be alcoholic, of course, but we don't pay for those. We only pay for the soft drinks. So if you buy pizza and you organize an event on your end, just specify the location on the website, and then once the event is passed, we reimburse pizzas and drinks, soft drinks. So that's the thing. When COVID came around, it became like more a Pizza Bugs and Fun at home, and then we had all these events going on virtually, which was fun, and we had it in Joomla Day USA, for example. But it's not exactly the same, because it's really fun to be together, and like Joe was saying, when you sit next to somebody who knows a little bit about Joomla and how to test PRs, pull requests and stuff like that, you feel like you're getting into the fun of things, and you don't need to be tech savvy, or you can just follow a few instructions and then you'll get from there. I created this little presentation today, which really takes you all the steps that you need to go through if you were not knowing anything about Pizza Bugs and Fun, or even anything about Joomla. Let me share my screen. Actually, I don't know if I can just switch. I'm going to try, because sometimes it doesn't work very well with OBS, so I'm going to try, and let me know if it's fuzzy, or if you see the slideshow okay, or it's probably fuzzy right now because I have my blur.
Yep.
I had blur on. I take the blur off. Does it work better?
Better.
Yeah.
And I guess, should I spotlight you?
But not good.
Not good. Maybe I can share my screen instead.
You have to raise the bandwidth.
Right now, where'd you go? Oh.
Yeah, it's probably my bandwidth because I'm on 5G here. So okay, let me share my screen instead.
Perfect.
Fine.
It's good. Okay.
Much better.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give up on OBS.
Oh, okay.
I don't have the bandwidth for it.
Okay.
So when you know that the next PBF is going to be on August 24, and as I was explaining to Emmanuel, this is really because we try and have the event as soon as we hit a milestone in the next release of Joomla. In this case, the milestone is 5.2, and 5.2 is coming in October, but the first beta is coming, I think, in a couple of weeks or even next week, something like that. It's around the corner. So we really need to have an event like this one so that we can figure out if there are any issues that are remaining before release 5.2. And it also helps, developers try their extensions and try and update the documentation if you up for it, or even test the remaining patches that have not been tested, and for people to issue bug reports if there are any left that need to be fixed. We want to make sure that every time we release a version of Joomla, that version is the more stable as possible, so that when you update your site, well, you don't get into glitches. So this is very important. So how do you prepare for the event? Usually you don't really need to prepare for it, but it's actually a good idea to be ready if you're going to plan on spending the part of your day squashing bugs or testing patches, is to be ready to go, because lots of time people can get a little frustrated if they spend the first hour or two trying to set up their environment or trying to get set up to start doing anything. And especially when you go to documentations, there are a few steps to go through before you can actually start documenting. When you want to test patches, there are a few steps you have to go through so that you can get the patches ready to be tested. So here are the few steps you can go through. So I don't know if you know about it, but we do have a website. It's pizzabugs.fun.com. And I will share my my slideshow later on, so you have all the links. I'm going to show a lot of links. So so there's Pizza Bug and Fun. I don't know if actually you can see. So this is the actual website. It does advertise the next event and when it starts. And right now we are pretty much in a release like every 6 months. So there are 2 major Pizza Bugs and Fun a year. So you can expect it, one in August and one in February, like we did last time. So you have all the sponsors and everything. There is also a video, but I think the video is not, you don't have the link to the new video yet. It's still the last one we had. But it also, it will make you go through all what I'm presenting to you today. So if you want a video version of what I'm talking about today, you can also get to that video on clicking on how can I prepare myself. So the first thing, I'm making sure that I'm not missing anything. Okay. If you have not yet an identity account in Joomla, and if you want to test patches, it's very important that you actually create an account. So you just go to identity.joomla.org, and that will make you go through the creation of an account if you don't have it yet. It will make you part of the volunteers portal. And if you were a volunteer in the past and you already have an account, that account should be available for you. So you just either register or log in to your account. This is very important for the next steps we're going to go through. So it's very important you have an account in Joomla. Once you log in, you also have you will have the list of permissions you give Joomla so that they can use your account information. So you're gonna have to approve some consent, especially for Mattermost and for people who don't know Mattermost, Mattermost is our kind of online chat tool that we use to talk to each other and in different channels. And the way you can go to Mattermost is you go to joom.la/chat, and I will take you to Mattermost. Of course, it won't take you directly to the chat. You will have to log in with the credentials you created previously with the Joomla account. So this is the way to get in. You will need to have this identity portal for Joomla. So if you're not on Mattermost yet, it's very important that you go through this, because this is the way where you will be able to see people and talk to them on the OR PBF channel. This is a channel where everybody who does PBF that day, or even now, there are already people talking. Emmanuel posted a few things. There are a few people in there that said, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and create a location and then have people gather around for next time, and we'll meet at this place. And so people are very excited about that. And it's a good, Mattermost is a good community place where we can gather. And then if there are issues on PBF day, you can get information from that site, and you can ask questions, you can get help from people. The main channel for everybody is Town Square. If you don't know it yet, we are almost 1,000 people in there, which is starting to get pretty big. And so whenever somebody needs help, they usually ask, and then usually people answer, and this is a great community place to be. So that's good that you can join Mattermost. There is more information for Mattermost. There's been an issue in the magazine. It was in November 2022. So you can go to the Joomla website to the list of magazines. And if you go to November 22nd, 22, you will get the documentation on how to get to Mattermost and what it does. And there's going to be much more information on what I gave you today. But what I told you should be allowing you to go through the steps. So join the PBF channel so that then the day of the event, you get notified if somebody posted something that's important. There's always a way of letting everybody know if something happens. So there'll be shout out during the day, and people will share probably their pictures of the event, where they are. And there's going to be all these things going on. So if you can join the channel before PBF, then you will be all set for the day. All right. Then you have the option that day to test patches or create patches. So create patches is more for people who are developers. Testing patches is more for people who are actually users of Joomla and want to test things around. So the unfortunate thing you have to do is join GitHub. GitHub, it shouldn't be a scary place. GitHub is just a place where we have the Joomla project code, and this is the place where we provide issues and we provide patches for issues. And the patches in the developer world is called pull request, or PR. So these PRs are available in there in GitHub. See, if you go to the Joomla project on GitHub, that's kind of information you see. Maybe I should try and make it bigger. Yeah. So that's you get to a page, Joomla CMS. This is where the project is located. It looks scary, but it really isn't. You have a tab at the top that has all the issues that have been reported. You can click on new issue in GitHub to create a new issue. If you have a problem with Joomla, just tell people. You can first try and see if the issue hasn't been reported before. And if it hasn't, then you create your new issue. If it has, you can add your comment to the issue itself. So this is a very simple process. Pull requests as for developers who create patches for you to test. So if you join GitHub, it's actually, I forgot to.
Just a second, Olivier.
Yeah.
It may be important to say that GitHub needs an extra account.
An extra what?
Account.
Yes, you need an account. Yeah, that's what I was going to get to.
An extra account. It's not the same account as in identity portal.
Yeah, it's a different account. Yeah, I was going to get to it. So you have you need to first create your account on GitHub. So when you go to GitHub, maybe I should I'm going to sign out. So well, I don't want to sign out. Otherwise, I'm going to be annoyed with that. But when you first go to GitHub, you need to create an account at GitHub. So it will give you access to everything that I just showed you, the Joomla CMS information. This is very important because then you will need to have this account available to you for testing patches. So the day, so once you have created your GitHub account, you can then go to the Mattermost channel, the OR PBF. And you can, there will be, I don't know if I can see it. Sorry, I'm trying to get to, all right, let me get there. Okay. When you are in Mattermost, when you go on the OR PBF channel, sorry, my account has so many channels, it's hard to get through. And if I can make it bigger. So you'll see at the top of the Mattermost channel, there is a list of links. So there is the website link. You have issues, which is which we a list of things you would want to primarily test that day. So that's something that we will put together. It's not ready yet. We'll put together for you to see and to give you more insight of what should be tested and what should be documented and stuff like that. Then you're going to have the list of servers that are going to be available for you, because for that day, we will provide some testing environments so that you don't have to do anything. You just go click on the servers list. I'm not going to go there. Oh, okay, actually, I can just show you what it was last time. This is what it looked like last time. You actually have a list of servers that are available to you. There's quite a bunch. And you can click on one and then log in, and then you can start using the Joomla instance that's provided. Once you go into an instance, the first thing you should do is change the password so that nobody else can access your instance, because otherwise you will be several people working on the same and it's not going to work. Then what you need to do is when you have an instance ready and you entered and you logged into that instance, what you're going to see is I'm going to change. Okay. What is going to you're going to see, you're going to enter the home dashboard. So that's once you log in. The first thing you need to do is go to your user and to manage and change the password, or you can just go to here, edit account, and change your password from there. You can use the light or dark mode, whatever you feel like more comfortable with. and then you will go to the global configuration. And in the global configuration, you will see a Joomla patch tester instance. This is going to be already installed for you. And once you have this Joomla patch tester page, you go to the GitHub authentication, and that's where it's important to have a GitHub account. It's because you need to add a token in here so that you can fetch all the patches that are going to be available and you can test. So what you do is, it's easy because you just have to click on the link, create a personal access token. This will take you to your GitHub account. My account is a little secured, so I have to go through a code and go into my phone eventually. Okay, sorry, takes a second. It will take you to this page, and it's going to create a token for you. You just have to say, to leave everything that's up, Joomla patch tester is going to be available for 30 days. You go all the way down, and you click on generate token. That will give you, well, actually, I already have this one. It's unique name, so I already have one prior. Is give you a number, and this number is going to be gone once you leave that page. So there is a little copy in here, so you just copy your number, and you should copy it somewhere else if you want to be able to get access to it later on. If you were, for example, creating a new instance somewhere else or testing a different instance of Joomla, you would have to reuse your token. So you copy it, make it safe somewhere, because if I refresh my page, my Joomla patch tester 3, it's available, but the token is gone. I don't see it anymore. And if I don't see it, then I can regenerate a new one, but I mean, it's an extra step. So when I'm in my Joomla patch tester Joomla instance, I just copy the token I just created. And I save and close. That's going to take me to the Joomla patch tester page. The Joomla patch tester page is actually the list of all the patches that are available to test. And what you do is fetch data, and that will get all the stuff that's available. So once again, we will have the list of the issues that you should primarily look for. So you will see all that's available here, but if you go to the list of issues, and you will be able to target which ones, you know, that are actually needed to look for. So for example, let's say here I'm looking for, I should filter by my options. So there are filters that are maybe not making any sense to you. So filter RTC patches is a very important one. RTC means that the issue that's been tested is ready to be committed into Joomla. So it doesn't need to be tested anymore. So it says ready to commit. So these are usually, if you filter by those, if you say yes, you will find all the ones that already been tested that don't need to be tested anymore. So usually when you want to do it on PPF day, you just set it to no, so that you know for sure that the ones that are here are not already tested. And you don't do a double work that, you know, if you test something and it's already tested, then you feel like, okay, I wasted my time. Although we make a patch ready to commit, we make it when we have 2 successful tests, but it never hurts. It never hurts to have more tests, because you never know if somebody tested something and missed something out, maybe you catch something else that didn't see. So it's, you know, it's still not too bad if you test more than 2 times a patch. Filter NPM. NPM is for all the patches that have already been created and that are touching JavaScript or CSS, anything that's that needs to be built in a separate instance. So usually these patches, they cannot be tested with the software here because they need to be recompiled to be able to be used. So when you want to test patches in your console, you say filter and npm patches. I think you said to no. So you don't want to see the patches that are tagged npm because you know that you won't be able to test them in there. And that should be pretty much it. You can filter by label, so you can just target the instance of Joomla you want to test. So here, obviously, you want to test the version P 5.2 for the next PBF, and especially that the version you will be being into will be a 5.2 instance, a neatly built of the 5.2. So you should stay on 5.2. Actually, you can also test it here. The tags, the labels are not always reliable, so we should just filter by branch, actually. It's better to filter by branch. Draft patches are usually the patches that are created, but are not quite ready to test because there are things that they need to be worked out. There are maybe comments in the PR that make it so that it's not ready to be something that's going to be tested. So you just also filter by no. That's a lot of no. But then you still get a list of all the stuff that can be tested. You can see there's 100 right now. This is amazing. There's still a lot to be going through. So then you go through the issues that's available to you as a list, and then you can just search by the PR number, and that's how you're gonna get to it. I'm looking for where is my PR? I know that's one that can be tested, and I forgot that's the number. If you're interested in testing, or it's not, oh yeah, it's already RTC. Yeah, filter RTC. Yes. I don't know why it doesn't show. Oh, I don't know why it doesn't show here. That's weird. Okay, RTC. Oh, it's RPM, so that's why. Okay, there is one that's gonna be merged is for guided tours, and then if you want to test this one, there's already been tested, but if you want to try it out, it's something that can be tested as well. But I'll let you know later. So anyway, this is how you go to the patch tester. So when you have a patch, well, this one is not a good example because it's npm, so I won't be able to try it out in here. But if it was one that was not npm, then you would say apply patch. When you click on apply patch, it actually adds the code for the bug into your Joomla instance. So let's get one that's available. Okay, let's say admin module, the display module. I think this one is, we shouldn't add this one. Custom reply description. Let's see. So I get this one 43870 and say apply patch. Well, actually, I shouldn't say apply patch right away because I should know what it is all about. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm just going to click on view on GitHub first. So what is it about? So there is usually a little explanation on what the problem is. And it usually is a way of, okay, you should test it or not. And what to have to test. And usually
Yeah,
it tells you,
Olivier, there's usually a section that says this is what will happen before you apply the
Yeah.
patch, and then it says this is what happens when you've applied the patch. That's the
yes.
section.
So I'm gonna give you the one that was for guided tools because it was a good one for explanations. That I know of. So I'm not looking around. So for example, you see a summary of changes, and then it tells you what it does. And then it tells you, okay, there are testing instructions. So test 1, you should do this. Test 2, you should do that. And it goes through a few tests. This one was pretty extensive. So there were a lot of test steps, but sometimes it's just one test. So you look at what it is. And then if this is an issue and not a new feature, then you go to your instance and you say, okay, I'm having an issue. Okay, it says the contact form is not showing the name, for example. This is something stupid. Then you say, okay, well, I'm going to add my first contact and see, okay, is the name showing on my page? Here it's showing, but let's assume it was not showing. So it's not showing. Okay, I see the problem. So I canceled it. I see the problem. So then I'm going to the patch tester and I'm going to apply the patch. I apply the patch. Well, let's assume that's the one. When you apply the patch, yeah, what doesn't apply the patch? Okay, I'm gonna have to see if there's an issue with the patch tester. Okay. When you apply the patch, it will add the code to your Joomla instance, and then you go back to your contact page and you say, okay, now does it fix the problem? I'm gonna add my first contact. Does it fix it? Oh, I see my name failed. So it does fixes the problem. So I had not tested the patch test. Oh, it's because, okay, it's an issue with my browser, I think. The patch was put. Okay. And then once you have tested it, you say, okay, I need to report my issue that has been tested. I need to report it. So there's a link in the patch that says view on Joomla issue tracker. So you go there. And this will, this is the same page as the GitHub page, but it has a little more information. And this is a page where you also log into with your GitHub account. So you see, you will see exactly the same thing that there was into the PR, the pull request, the patch. And then you have a big test list on the left. You click on it, and then you say test successfully. And then you submit your test result. And that's how you submit a test in Joomla. That's it. That's all you have to do. Then you go back to your Joomla instance. And then I did 2 patches, which is a bad thing to do. Then you want to revert the patch back so that you come back to the stable version you had before applying any patch. Any questions?
So Olivier, does it somewhere show now that one person has tested it?
Yes, once you have it tested, it will show on the GitHub page, it will show like this. Like this. With I've tested this item successfully. It's automatically curated. So
Okay.
once you have tested successfully on the issue tracker, it will automatically add a comment in the GitHub like this. That's exactly this one. It will add a test that was being successful. If you failed to test the patch, if it didn't work for you, you should mention it as well. So you said you tested it unsuccessfully, and in that case, you say, okay, well, that's what I did, and I couldn't replicate, or I couldn't make it work. That's how you do it.
Okay.
And then it will show unsuccessful, and then the developer will be notified, and it will try and figure out what was wrong in the test, or what was wrong in the patch itself. And you see here I had 2 tests, and that's why then it become RTC, ready to commit. That means ready for the release managers to decide if they want to have it included in the release or not, if it's good for them, because they have the final say. Even if a patch has been tested and successfully, the release manager still has the last word.
Can I go back and ask you a question from one of the earlier things that you said?
Yes.
So the identity.joomla.org, that login, because when you were saying it all, I wanted to make sure I had all my logins. That is the same login you use to get into Mattermost, correct?
Yes.
So that's okay. So I didn't know I had an identity one, but I was already a member of Mattermost. So then I was like, oh, that's the one I use for Mattermost, because
yes, exactly. I'm sorry, I didn't mention it. It's to log to Mattermost, you use your identity portal login. So that's why it's important to have to create first the Joomla account, then Mattermost, and then GitHub. There's only the account you need to create. I'm sorry. And then you will see there you need one separate one for documentation as well.
Okay. And then when I went into Mattermost and I found that channel, just by clicking on it, it allowed me to join, because I didn't think I was already joined before. So just by clicking on that channel, it says now you have joined.
Yeah, because it's a public channel, so you can access it without any requests from anyone. You can just go in there, and then usually when people join, we welcome them, and then they can ask questions and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And so does that automatically notify me of things?
Then if there is something going on, usually if the person wants to reach everybody in the channel, we send a message with the hashtag. It's not a hashtag, it's the ampersand all or ampersand channel, which is going to notify everybody. So you will be notified from now on if anything happens that's important in the channel.
That depends on your personal preferences you take in Mattermost.
Yeah, but I think it's by default. By default, I think you're notified, right? Unless you say you don't want to be notified.
Okay. And then remind me again, on the day of Pizza Bugs and Fun, how do I get an instance? Are there just hundreds of them already?
Yeah, so that's what I was. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to let you know. When you go to the ORPBF channel.
Yep.
On the top, you can see on the top, there's a servers link. That's where you get the servers links. So it will be a page looking like that. Right now, it's going to an old page, so none of those instances are working anymore. But by the time we get to PBF, this is going to be the page where you get your instance from.
Okay, and so does it show if one is already taken and one that's open, and you could just click on the one that's open?
I don't know. It depends on how it's going to be set up. I don't know yet. Benjamin.
The way it was in the previous ones, it was basically the password for all of them was the same thing for the admin account, and then you would just basically change the password.
Yeah.
Now we're logging someone out. Okay.
Yeah. So that's like when I told earlier is that you need to. First thing, you need to change your password so that nobody else can log in into your instance and start messing up, your settings.
That makes perfect sense. Okay.
Yeah. The other things you need to do when you are in your instance, and now I have so many tabs open, is to be going to the global configuration. a good thing to do, because if you want to be able to be notified if there is an issue, so you should, if it's not done yet, it may be done already for you, but you should set debug system to yes. Like that, you will be able to catch the issues. Or if you have a white screen, you will know what is the error, and then you can report that error. Because if you get a blank screen, then it doesn't help you or the developer who created the patch. And then you can also, which I always usually do, is change the lifetime of my sessions to a little larger time, because it may be too short, so that when you do something and then you come back to it 10 minutes later, you're not logged out of the session. That's one of the things I do usually when I start.
Just wanted to say hello to Mike and Dorothy, jumped in a little late. This is Olivier's presentation on how to get yourself ready for pizza, bugs, and fun. So you don't have to do it that morning, which is really helpful because I've done it a couple times, but I don't do it enough to remember all of this stuff. Who else has questions? I know I've been hammering on some questions, but anyone else? Feel free to just unmute and talk. All right, I know Joe's here and I'm here. We've
I have a
both,
question. Sorry.
Yeah,
Little
Lisa.
late jumping in. So I'm curious, I saw that you were doing the testing on a local installation of Joomla. Does it make a difference if it's local or like say a staging site that's on a server somewhere, since this isn't something I've done before? I figured not, but just
No,
local
you
isn't
can.
required, right? Because I don't
No.
have a local setup.
You
Okay.
can do I'm going to show you how you can do a local setup right now, very
Oh,
quick.
great. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank
So
you.
this I went through the easy way for, I mean, so that you don't have to create an instance of Joomla, you don't, you know. But there is also another way. You can also download the latest version of Joomla for yourself. And if you go to the night builds, and you will have the link in the slide, so you can refer to it. You go to the nightly builds, and then you just install your version of Joomla you want to test. So basically, this time it's going to be 5.2. So you can see you can download an update or a full package. So see if you already have an instance of Joomla that's already 5, for example, you can just update it to your version of 5.2 alpha. Is probably going to be beta by the time we get to Pixel Bucket and Fun. Not that you don't want to do that on a production site. You want to do that on the test site, of course. And you also should always back up your site before you do an update to a native build, because you never know how bad it can go. Because native builds are not always the most stable. So you can do the native build. You can also, if you feel like it during that day, you can start looking at what Joomla Sys has to offer, but it's not quite there yet. So it's still in early stages. But for this Pizza Button Fund, it will be Joomla 5.2. So you go and get your update or full package, and then you just install it like a regular version of Joomla. It's exactly the same. And then what you need to do is, if you want to get the patch tester, you also need to download the patch tester extension. There is a version available, and you can download the latest release, install it on your local instance, and then you will have the software available. So then you go through the same steps as before. You go to GitHub, you get your Joomla token, and then you apply it to your site, and then you can access the patches. That's the way of doing it.
if you're familiar with these doing the Joomla test sites on a local computer, it may be a little bit advantage because you have your own bandwidth and are not struggling about if anything is in technical problems from the server side.
Indeed. And you also, if you do it locally, you also have the advantage that you can test the patches that need to be built. That means the ones that have been created with JavaScript and CSS into it, there are changes in it. So you can't use the patch tester for it. So, but what we can do is to actually go to the PR itself. And instead of downloading a native build, so for example, if you want to test the auto start tool, for example, you go down and you see there's all checks that have been done on the patch. And if you click on show all patches, all checks, sorry, then you have a download line and it says you can go to the details. And here in that page, you can actually download the whole package or an update to your instance with all the code for that patch. So then you just install that on your local server, and you can actually test exactly that patch in your local instance. So this is the way to actually directly test patches that need to be rebuilt.
But no, not all PRs have that link.
No, because sometimes the link it always get created, but sometimes it is removed if the creation has been done too far. Too long ago. I think there's a period limit. So when that happens, there's also what you can do is contact the developer or add a comment into the patch itself, asking them to, for example, here, I don't have the latest changes from the branch, so I can update my branch, and if I update the branch, then I get the packages to be recreated again. So then I get the newest ones, and then you get the list updated and
keep in mind it's not instantaneous. It can take up to 20-30 minutes to actually rebuilding. There's one right now. I'm literally in parallel to this meeting talking to Peter, who just updated his new module that he built for Joomla, and he asked me if I could test it, and I said gladly, but I'm waiting for those checks to be processed.
So usually, it takes some time, but the download ones, the downloading links, they're actually the ones that show up first.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be, maybe 15 to 20 minutes at the worst case, but usually it comes pretty fast. But you have to be aware of it. It's not instant.
Yeah. And for those people who don't know, I think that it's important to note that you can test bugs, or I should say PRs, that are resolving bugs or creating new features anytime. You don't have to wait for the two pizza bug and fun events. I happen to spend my time helping Joomla mostly in that capacity. I'm also in a couple of small other teams, but I spent most of my time doing that. And what I've done, which I'm going to put in the chat, is I've created on GitHub a special sort of filter set of parameters that allows me to basically focus on the most, I would say, relevant / easy to deal with PRs. So if you see the chat that I just put up, if you put that string, it's a long string, I admit, in the filters area in GitHub, what it will do is it will take out of the 244 PRs, it will take out basically anything that's not well, it will make sure that everything that you're looking at is a PR. That is an open PR, not a draft, not some archive thing. It will also remove from the list anything that's already RTC. That means ready to commit. That means that's a PR that's already been tested. So you don't want to, unless someone specifically asks for it, you don't want to be retesting PRs that have been tested already. Not that you can't, of course you can, but the idea is we want to have most number of people working on the most number of PRs. So if everyone is focusing on one PR, then the others don't get handled. It also doesn't show you PRs that are for 6.0 of Joomla, since not that you can't test that, but it's so far in the future that it's better to test the ones that are for the current versions. Anything that's labeled updates requested, that means that some other people have commented that there's missing things in that PR, so basically it's not ready for testing. Anything that is really labeled for developers, like I'm not a really good developer, I admit it. So anything that's like code review, that's not my thing. Anything where it says test instructions missing, I'm not going to try to figure out what is supposed to be tested if there is no testing instructions. I won't be able to correctly test the thing. Anything that's related to a unit system test, I don't know how to handle. Anything that's related to composer dependency changed, that's something that I don't know how to handle either. So I would say that this 77 that are left are the relatively simple ones to go through. So
Yeah,
if I can help you.
I applied your filter so you go to the pull request tab and you enter the filter that you put. I'm gonna keep it so that I'm gonna put it into the documentation so that people have it.
Yeah, I mean it's at least easier for people who aren't so used to doing this. Like I said, I'm not really a developer. I have done development, but I don't consider myself a Joomla developer. I'm not good enough in PHP. So this allows you to really handle or play with the simpler ones. The only thing that you need to know that I think Olivier might have mentioned, when it says npm resource changed, you cannot test that via the Joomla patch tester. That can only be tested by downloading the package.
Yeah.
For that PR.
So like, for example, you see the third line is tinymce7. It's like an update to tinymce. And it says npm resource change. So this one cannot be tested through the patch tester. So what you do is click on the PR, and then you go all the way down, and you see show all checks, and then you have the download line. You click on details. Then you download usually the full package or the update, whatever.
Yeah, usually. Well, if you're going to do it for a Pizza Bug and Fun Day, keep in mind you're going to use the update one, the last line. However, it's important to note that usually, I would say in 90% of cases, when you do that, this version that you're going to now have after you install this patch is like not the standard version that you had prior. And therefore, that instance that you're using of Joomla probably needs to be closed and no longer used. That's what happened to me at the previous.
You can compare the commit number if you get the last one. The commit number you see in the first line where the alpha is up a little bit up.
Above. These packages were built based on
the commit numbers. Yes, you can compare these commit numbers. Which last version will be downloaded?
Yeah, so you
can be sure you have that.
Yeah, so now you mean that you can install patches over other patches if they are further in the future.
Right. But that might be more difficult for some people to handle. So that's why
But that's for people who are familiar with it. Yeah.
But that's not the entry level. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's or you can, once you have tested a patch like this one, created an instance for it, that you just delete it and create a new instance with another PR.
So Olivier, if you're first time doing this, you recommend going to the event, right? For your
Yeah. Yeah, you just go to the Mattermost channel, and then also get your instance that's ready for you if you're if not familiar with it, and then just go with the what's available in the Joomla patch tester extension. That we
and I will say, if you're new to doing this, it may feel overwhelming, but on the day of, on August 24th, there will be so many people to help you. Literally, there are people in every time zone. I actually hosted the first time that I participated in PBF, and the first time I hosted was like the last time we had one in, I don't know, February, March, whenever the hell it was. And I was completely newbie. I logged in at 9 a.m. And then let people in at 9 a.m. People started coming in at 10:30, and I stayed there till 9 p.m. And I literally got to talk to people from Australia, Vietnam, Hamburg, all the way up to USA. I mean, like I did all the time zones. So there is help, throughout the whole process. It may feel a little bit daunting, which it did for me anyways. And really quickly, you get through it. I was able to test 11 or 12 PRs, even though I had never done it, like ever.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think that's pretty good. Knowing that I didn't even have like all the necessary credentials because I had not attended one of these sessions. So I literally showed up with my TV being one of my, what do you call it? Zoom screens or Google Meet screens. And I was like, okay, so what do we do now? And I got it done, and I got the help of Dieter, I got the help of Olivier, I got the help of Laura, I got the help of Benjamin, and so on and so forth.
Wow, that's amazing, because 12 is a pretty good number. You spend a lot of time on those. That's great.
And so
sometimes I mean, last time I was helping people, so I didn't do much, but I was able to do one in 4 hours.
Yeah, but
because
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. You were helping so many people just getting set up. You spent most of your time doing that.
Yeah, but that's the point of this little explanations, because if you are ready with your accounts, if you are ready to just click on the server and then get your instance and start going, you'll be starting much faster. And then
oh yeah, you'll save about an hour and a half.
You'll save time, and you'll be able to jump in and ask people if you have questions, and you will feel more fulfilled, and you'll feel like you've done something more.
And the other thing I want to really stress, because I've already said it, but I'll say it again. You can do, once you've done a PBF or even before, you can do bug fixes / PR testing without having an official event. I do about 1 to 2 a week, depending on what's going on with my life, because I actually enjoy it. I actually think it's fun, but I might be a little kooky. But also it's the satisfaction of knowing I'm helping I'm putting my little, my little push on the big boulder to get the boulder across the top of the hill.
Yeah, and then the more people test, the better, because there's all these patches that are available, ready to be tested, and the more people testing, the better, because then these patches go into the next release, and it's really important that we fix everything that needs to be fixed in Joomla, so that
and sometimes it's not even fixed. I mean, many of the releases have actual features, like new
features.
things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, like right now, I said at the end of this call, I'll be testing Peter's new module, which is pretty cool module. It lets you basically, it's a module on the back end for admin that displays the redirect links that are quote unquote being redirected by Joomla. Because the reality is, we as maintainers of websites of Joomla, we often don't remember to check that area because, well, we have so many things to do. But this module being right there on your homepage, if you install it, will let you see, oh, look at that. You're having, these links that you need to deal with. And either redirect or do a 404 or whatever it is you want to do with it. So that's a great new feature. It might not get used by everybody, and it might not get used a lot, but for those people, especially migrating sites,
You have the option.
that's important.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Emmanuel, but we need to talk a few minutes about documentation because we're close to the end of the meeting. So I want to make sure that Dieter can talk about it.
Please, let's have it.
Well, documentation, that is a very wide theme. You see, our documentation, may I open the, Olivier, may I share my screen? Can you close yours?
Oh, yes, of course. Do you work?
Yeah. It's not working.
Anyone should be
Okay.
able
Oh, yeah, I see. It's just a second. I have to select one of my windows.
Beautiful.
That one. So you see, that's the starting page of your documentation. And if you have logged in with your new account, you can see it here. If you have your icon is displayed over in the right hand side of the top. And when I switch to the create account page, there's one point I will remember you. There's a very uncomfortable captcha here. Read the instruction carefully because it's not so easy to solve. For example, you see this string is your string you are going to is ask the fourth letter from backwards. That's maybe an A here, and so on. You have to go through that captcha, and then you can create your account. At one point, I want to remind you very carefully. If you got your account, you have to confirm your email address, because without that confirmation, the Joomla documentation don't let you edit any page or create any new page. So the confirmation of the I try to switch to another
Yeah, so be aware that you should look into your spam to make sure.
I try to switch to another window.
You usually have to reshare. You have to share again if it's change window.
That's it. You see, that's my my account. Here you see that icon I spoke about, and you go to the preferences, and downwards your email, it's here, is noticed. And if you haven't done your confirmation, you will be informed here in that line. And that you should prove if that is done. That is a very important thing. So next is if you are in that in the documentation, you can switch here to the special pages. There are some informations about the Joomla documentation where you can see if you're looking for any page, you can list pages with prefix. You can look to your own user rights. You can see the user list. I can try this now. You see, when I sort it by creation date and descend in order, I will see the most last users who had registered, and you also see you have a personal talk page. That's this one. That's your normal user page, and about discussion, you get to your user page where you can have some discussions with other users or discussions about anything you want to do with other members of the community in the docs. So if you go to that user list again, you have also here, you see if you have any contribs that will be changed in blue. I go to this guy now, and he's trying something in the sandbox. He's testing something. So what I want to say is, in these special pages, you have a lot of pages which are not for common interest, but maybe you are looking for something and you may find that in that pages. So going back to the documentation itself, that's the bug I don't have ready. You see here that a grayish span style thing, that is by mistake. This this arrow should be put here, and I don't know where this bug is coming from. So don't look about this one. So I want to go back to the main page. Yeah. You see, we have some documentation which is addressed to beginners. We have others addressed to administrators and to developers. And what is missing here is we have some documentation which is addressed to web designers. And all these pages have not in the last few years, not as maintained as it should be, because we have now some more pages we can as we can how do we, my English is not so good. We have more pages which are outdated and not in actual, and these pages should be updated as soon as we can do it. But we are lack of personnel there, because in former times we have about 100, 200 people who is maintaining or editing some pages, and now that I can show you in the special
so if
pages.
you happen to like to write,
Pardon?
Dieter would love to have you in his documentation group.
Yes, you can also, when you are in Mattermost, you can check and look, search for the channel, the documentation channel, and you'll be able to.
The name is PD documentation.
And once you access it, and then you'll be able to talk to Dieter directly.
Yes.
And it can help you get started if you want to do documentation, because it's really important for the project. We have releases that come very often now. Every 6 months we have a release, a major release. So we need to make sure that the documentation follows the process, and it's hard because it's a lot of work.
Okay, I close my presentation now, though.
But if everybody helps a little bit, then it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly.
most of, I don't know. You see, when I started with documentation, it's about 3 or 4 years ago, I just started with translations, and there are very a lot of pages who can help you with documentation, but it's not so easy to find them. So I started to make my bookmarks, and it's more than 100 bookmarks I have collected in the last few years, and that and I have to search pages as well. So don't be frustrated if you don't find any information uh, 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 how do you my English? Um, you you have to don't be frustrated if you don't find it in the first step. You see, the best way will be to send me via Mattermost a direct message, and I will try to help you as soon as I can. So best, you see, there are so many questions I can imagine you have. So best would be you ask me directly here now or later on on Mattermost.
Yes, if you are interested in documenting on PBF Day, to get you started, you make sure that you have created your account for the documentation, because sometimes it takes some time, and if the email doesn't go through, you have to redo it, and so we have to make sure that we get you into the system and on Mattermost and in the documentation page, so that you can start right away when you are on PBF Day. Any questions for the documentation? I know it's a little short. I'm sorry. We're running out of time, but
Sounds like we could use a meeting, one of our meetings, just to talk about documentation alone.
yeah, we should have Dieter come up.
There's a question. Just a second.
Topic to me.
Yeah, there's a question in the chat. I would like to have the presentation link on Google Docs. I don't know what you're meaning.
Oh yeah, it's for what I was presenting. I'm sure I put the link in the chat. If you look a little further up, I put the link to the slideshow, and then Robin is going to add it to the event, I'm sure.
Yes, I saw it. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and then sometimes I get notifications on people who want to access it. So I think I shared it for everybody who has the link to be able to access it now.
Thank you. And we are right on time at 12:30. Joe, do you have any closing remarks? Olivier, thank you so much. It was a really good refresher for me. Having done it only once or twice before, I can say once I get there, I teamed up with one other person who was about the same skill level as me, and we went at the same pull request together and kind of talked about what it really meant. And if two minds get together, maybe we could figure it out. So there's one approach when you do get on, even virtually, you can kind of have a chat with someone separate and say, okay, let's team up today. I really appreciate it, and I hope all of you get a chance to contribute to this one or the next one, or if you get real comfortable, do it as often as Emmanuel does. I think we should follow up and have another meeting on the documentation, because I don't think we got in it as fully as we could have. But I appreciate everyone who came out today. I will post this meeting on our YouTube channel and share it on our Facebook page. If there are no other discussions, we're gonna end it for today. Thank you again to everyone who came, and look on our Facebook page or our email list to see when the next meeting is. Always the third Thursday of the month.
Yeah, and then and also, I'm sorry, also the day of PBF, we could also get together in specific time so that we can share
Yeah, use my Facebook page to throw out any times or anything or any updates or reminders. And then anything you put up there, I can also share in my email list if you want me to send out to my email list too, which isn't very large, but it's a committed group of people that
Yeah.
pretty regularly, so it certainly will help.
All right.
Thank you, Olivier.
Thank
you.
Thank you
Olivier.
all.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Merci. Bye bye.
Thank you,
Auf
Robin.
Wiedersehen.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Take care.